Hi there, welcome to another Friday Findings video. Today I thought I would show you how to use a product that you can use to really make custom pieces for your jewelry making. And this is molding putty. It comes in several different brands. I have this one here, Easy Mold. You can find it at your craft stores. I do like this brand because it comes in a 1-pound package, which is quite economical. You can find it on Amazon. And the way it comes is in 2 parts, kind of like a 2-part epoxy. And you mix the 2 parts together, and then you get a mold that is like a clay, and you can press things into it. For example, I have this butterfly ring, and I made a mold of that. Or if you sculpt pieces, make your own, then you can easily make copies. Like I sculpted this dragon pendant, and this is my mold that I made of that. And here are a couple pieces that I made with the mold. And so you can try all kinds of possibilities without re-sculpting the entire thing. You can mold objects, like this was a key that I molded. And what you can pour into these molds is not just clay, but you can use resin, you can use ultra-thick embossing enamel. Of course, you can color your resins and your enamels. You can also make yourself texture sheets. Here's just a wooden dowel with some string wrapped around it. And I rolled a sheet of this clay through the pasta machine and then rolled this on it. And now I can run sheets of clay through the pasta machine and get this great texture. Another thing you can do is make molds of charms. Like I have this little dragon charm, and I actually made a mold of it to put him in this little cage. And I made a 2-part mold with that. And the way you do that is you mold one side. You can see he pops right in here. And I didn't have the jump ring on. And then you make sure and you make little registration marks so that you can line up the other side. And you let this side cure. And then once this side is cured, you actually spread Vaseline on this side so that your next ball of putty won't stick to it. And then you wrap the other one around it, and you can make the second part of your mold. When you make molds of things, you don't have to leave them exactly as they are molded. You can sculpt them and change them after you've made them in the clay. Like this dragon pendant, you can see I changed it a bit from the original. I changed the face a little bit. I added more texture to the background. So I went in and added a few more details. One thing to keep in mind is don't make your molds too thin. You can see this one is so thin, I can't really use this as it is because it's so thin that when I press clay in it, it just gives way rather than holding the shape. So make sure that you use enough clay so that you have a thick base, a thick firm base. But now let me show you how to use this. So like I said, it comes in 2 parts. And let's say we want to make a mold of this little piece, this little charm. Perhaps you want to make it in clay and make the eggs one color and the nest another. You want to get yourself a ball of one of the colors, about enough to cover half of that charm. Again, like I mentioned, make sure that you do leave it big enough so that it's thick, so that it will hold its shape. So that's good. And then you just get yourself a ball of the other side. And it comes in different colors. Some are blue, some are purple. And you just need equal amounts. So that looks good. And then you want to mix them until the color is uniform. And for about a minute. I often look at my clock and start mixing for a minute so that I know I've thoroughly mixed. Because sometimes you can be in a rush. And if you don't mix it thoroughly, it won't cure properly. But you don't want to mix it for too long because it will start to set up depending on the brand, the humidity, the temperature. Some set up more quickly than others. So this is looking pretty uniform. And so I'm just going to roll it back into a ball and then push it out into a shape that will accommodate my charm. And then I'm just going to push my charm in. And depending on what you do, if you wanted this to have a flat back, like on this one, I wanted to be sure that I had a flat back So I used a blade to trim the molding putty before it cured so that it would be nice and flat. Or you can just flip it over and press it on a flat surface so that it's flat. And then leave it to sit. It depends on the brand, again, the temperature, the humidity, how long it will take. But it's usually 15 to 20 minutes. You can tell that it's cured when you stick your fingernail in and it doesn't leave a dent. Alright, so I'm back. It's been about 15 or 20 minutes, and you can see that that same fingernail doesn't leave any mark in the silicone putty, so you know that it's fully cured, and you can pop out your piece that you've molded. And there it is. Now let me show you how you can easily make the mold your own. So you can just take little tiny bits of clay. So I want the eggs to be this nice spring blue. Now remember, you only have to fill the front part, because the rest is going to be, you're filling it from the back. And it usually uses far less clay than you might think it would. So just use little tiny bits and backfill it. And if you need to clean it up, one of these little ball embossing tools, a ball stylus, works pretty well. And then I've got this brown that's kind of some blended browns. I thought it would look good for a nest. Now if you have a piece that has a deep space, such as a face with a nose, what you want to do is shape your clay into a ball and then form a point, like a teardrop shape, and push that part right into the deeper part, like where the nose is. And that way you'll be sure to fill all the detail spots of your piece. Don't be afraid to press really hard on this, as long as you've made it thick enough, like I told you earlier, so that you won't have distorting. And then you can also, to flatten the back, you can flip it over on your work surface to get that flat. Clean it up. Now you can bake right in these molds, so if you have something very delicate, like for this little dragon with its very thin wings, I actually baked it right in the mold. And you'll notice I added, I don't know if you can see it on camera, I added some detail on the back with the ball stylus that wasn't there on the original charm. So once you have your piece molded, there's no rule that says you have to leave it exactly the way it was. Well, you can see even that was a bit too much for the eggs, and I'd probably trim off this bit with the loop. But I hope you get the idea of how quickly and easily you can make molds of found objects, charms, pendants, and really make yourself some custom jewelry. If you like this video, please be sure you've subscribed to my channel so you'll see more like it. And also click like and check out the other two videos up on the screen. I think you might enjoy them. And be sure to visit my blog, keepsakecrafts.net, where I have lots more creative ideas and inspiration. Thanks for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.